They were so unimpressive today. It was such a slog. And it keeps coming back to the same problems. And this, I've written a column for tomorrow's paper, Dan, kind of drilling into the detail here in terms of the problem with Rangers. The biggest problem right now is a lack of firepower and a lack of creativity in the final third. It's no surprise, for example, that it's a fullback that pops up, Tor Romans pops up with the winning goal today. Because look like making chances. And I don't know how you can sustain that over the course of a title run and expect to come out on top. So I did a little bit, and I think Celtic have got a similar issue, Dan, which is why I think Hearts are, although this has been a bit of a bruising weekend for them, a bad result at Kilmarnock, the whole thing's concertinaing up now at the top of the table. Celtic a point behind, Rangers 3 points behind in third. But I'm going to come back to it. Listen, here's some numbers, right? So Lon Shanklin's ready to come back now, and we expect him to be back full training this week. Now, between them, although Shanklin hasn't kicked a ball since January, he scored 16 goals this season, and Claudio Braga has scored 15. That's firepower. And that's, for me, going to be crucial in this running. And that's why people will say, oh, that's the Hearts bubble bust because they lost at Kilmarnock. Well, there's the reason why that's not the Hearts bubble bust. And then if you look at, what did we say going into the January transfer market? We said that Rangers and Celtic probably both need to find the same thing. A striker that can come in here and make the difference. Maybe score double figures over the remainder of the campaign, because that's what's going to be required to become title winners, to make either of these teams look like title winners. Rangers thought they had him in Nadiri, and obviously Andrew Kavanagh pushed the boat out on the final day of the transfer window to make that deal happen. £4.5 million. He must have been expecting that Ryan Nadiri was going to be that guy for Rangers. Ryan Nadiri, and by the way, he works, he runs his socks off, he's full of energy and enthusiasm, but he scored 2 goals since his transfer, and that they were both against Queen's Park in an 8-0 routing in the Scottish Cup. So he hasn't contributed or made the kind of contribution that I'm sure Rangers were hoping for. Chermiti, he scored 9 goals all season. 8 of them, by the way, again in games against Celtic and Hearts.
It's remarkable, that.
So his only contribution outside the games against Celtic and Hearts has been 1 league goal against Kilmarnock. That's not title-winning material. And then Majowski is obviously the kind of second, third fiddle, whatever you want to call it, sitting on the bench most of it. He scored 4 league goals all season. I think that's a major problem going into this running, because if you've not got a firing striker, you've got a problem. And that's where certainly Rangers, they've proven that over the last few weeks, that they're really struggling to click in the final third of the pitch. Now, if you look at Celtic, Jovanchira, he scored 1 goal in 11 games in the first half of the season in Turkey. He's now scored 2 in 11 games for Celtic, one of them being the penalty of the weekend.
Yep.
He doesn't look like a goal scorer.
No.
He's certainly not going to be a double figures goal scorer between now and the end of the season. Junior Adamu, he scored 2 goals for Freiburg in the first half of the season, and he scored 1 since signing for Celtic against Dundee in the Cup in the last minute. Dyson Maeda, he scored 8 goals all season. His last goal was in January the 10th versus Dundee United. He's now gone 14 consecutive games without a goal. I keep coming back to, if you've not got goal scorers, and playing in the final third, you're going to have a problem in this running. The other Celtic striker that would come into the argument, Kelechi Iheanacho, he scored 3 goals all season, 2 in the league, 1 in the Europa League. He last scored 6 months ago, 3-2 home win over Motherwell. I think these are real significant problems, and that's why when I look at what's still to come, the fact that Hearts are getting Shanklin back, he's still the top goal scorer, and he's going to couple up with Claudio Braga. There's goals there, and that's why if I'm Hearts, yes, I think that's a sore one. You know, they lick their wounds after losing at Rugby Park, but they're armed to the teeth in terms of what they've got up top, and I think that will become crucial going into this final phase of the season.